What is up, everybody? Yes, we are back. This is the North Shore Station podcast. I know you've missed us all. I'm here with Lucas D'Orazio, my co-host, and Camden Euler, who was once, we called him a producer, but he's basically just been another co-host.
My takes are hotter than everybody else's.
He does have the hottest takes.
I run the show, basically.
Camden's over here in the kitchen putting his takes in the microwave and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Oh, yeah.
basically Chef Camden over here.
And I know he's got some hot takes for us today. We got a lot to talk about on the show. Season 2, Episode 1. It all starts now. Welcome to the North Shore Station. Episode 1 of Season 2 kicks off right now. Fellas, how have we been?
I'm good. I was about to ask you guys the same thing. I mean, like, just how's your summer? I mean,
Not too
that's
bad.
Kind of like,
Not too bad. What have you guys been up to?
I mean, for a guy who couldn't walk until like about a month ago, by the way, the ACL is healing up well and everything.
Let's go.
I'm glad we had so many people asking about it and stuff. I'm just kidding. But, it's going well. A lot of vacations, a lot of time in the sun for me. I'm a little tanner this year, come this fall than most falls. So, that's a perk.
Just living your best life.
Yeah, just living out my best life. Unfortunately, I see Camden over here with all of his Orioles gear on. And I hate to bring it up, but it's been a rough summer for that team. So it might have been a rough summer for Camden.
The Orioles hat and the shirt, and that's a lot for a team that.
Yeah.
He's O's right
Do they have the worst record in baseball?
I don't know if they have the worst.
close.
Probably after the win streak, or the losing
Yeah, I was
streak.
gonna
It's
say,
probably
is that like
pretty
18
close.
losses in a
19
row?
in a row.
19.
And then beat Shohei Ohtani
There you
to
go.
keep it from 20.
The Angels
so.
are no good either, but yeah, not too bad of a summer, but I've been missing football a lot. Preseason doesn't really do it for me. I'm not gonna lie. I can't get into something that doesn't matter. And going back to baseball and the Orioles, I give Camden a lot of credit for watching the Orioles when they're playing for nothing. Like they're 50 games back from even a wild card spot, and that's why I don't really watch the Pirates too much unless I'm at the game. So that's how I feel with preseason. Like this doesn't mean anything. So yeah, I'll watch the Steelers. I'll watch until. I like to see what Dwayne Haskins is up to. I've been really impressed with him, by the way. I won't forget the slander you put on his name.
You looking at me or Camden?
Both of you. You guys would slander Dwayne Haskins.
Was it
every week.
justified at that point?
I'm not gonna lie. There's got to be some footage out there of me really slandering Dwayne Haskins when he was cut from the Redskins.
I'm sure there
Washington
is.
football team. I've already started it. Season 2, Episode 1. I'm already calling them the R word.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure you probably
ever
don't have to
do that
dig
again.
that far to find you slandering him either, to be honest.
As soon as he got
But,
cut, I was like, he never deserves to play again.
And then,
And now
like,
you're
2
cheering
weeks
for him.
later, the Steelers
Hypocrite.
picked him
The
up, and
future.
you went straight to,
He's the
he's the
franchise
future. I
quarterback.
could see him stepping in for Ben and being a solid quarterback for 10 years. I was like, all
I
right.
definitely like him more than Mason Rudolph. I've been liking what I'm seeing from him. I also like Josh Dobbs a lot, but he's probably not going to make the team. He's probably going to be a backup somewhere else once preseason's over. Other Steelers news that came out today. This is Monday, by the way. We're going to try to release episodes every Wednesday or Thursday. Still deciding. We will let you know as soon as this episode's released. I guess you'll find out. But the Steelers released punter Jordan Berry. So that means the rookie 7th-round pick, Presley Harvin, is the new punter for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think that goes a long way for the Steelers because, I mean, he can boot it, obviously.
Yeah.
In that Hall of Fame game, that might have been the most exciting part of the game was, like, 2
I
or 3
agree.
of his punts that were, like, awesome.
I was pumped.
What was that?
I was
you
pumped.
were pumped. Good.
It's great to have a real punter.
There's
in
nothing
Pittsburgh.
that gets me fired up like special teams. And also another special teams news from the Steelers, as long as some Dukes news while we're here on the campus of Duquesne, was that the Steelers long snapper got cut, and now the Steelers long snapper Christian Kuntz, former Duke, probably on the Mount Rushmore of NEC athletes of all time.
Duquesne athletes of all time.
Yeah, Duquesne athletes for sure, but conference athletes even. He was an absolute stud. He actually came up today in a conversation between me and the head coach. He said that he had the same injury as me. So, not
there you
trying
go.
to say anything.
Future long
But I
snapper.
am going to try to learn.
Browns.
I am trying to learn long snapper
There
in
you
the next
go.
couple of years. 'Cause
That'd be kinda hype.
That's your ticket in. But But yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to the Dukes for that. And yeah, I think that goes a long way, though, the punter, coming back to the punter situation, because it seems like one thing that I've always heard from Steelers fans since I've been in Pittsburgh is that your one consistent bad spot is your punter position. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to slander whoever it was
It's
before.
been Jordan
but-
Berry for the longest time.
Yeah,
Yeah, he finally
Jordan
got cut. And Presley Harvin's just awesome. He's built like a linebacker. He's punting the ball a mile, so I'm pumped for that. Any Browns preseason news that you've been any stuff you've been interested in lately?
I mean, the one guy I've really wanted to watch during the Browns preseason is Demetric Felton, the running back out of UCLA, and I think they got him in like the 6th or 7th round, like very late round guy, and he's a stud. Baker Mayfield said it either yesterday or today. A quote came out that said, like, yeah, we got a steal in him because he's been a punt returner, kick returner, a scat running back, but I mean, obviously we have two really good running backs in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, which I think everyone around the league knows about them. But our third running back, Ernest Johnson, he's also a really solid guy. So what's Felton do to get on the field? He's been running a receiver. I've heard like the day before practice, all camp, they kind of told him like, tomorrow you're either going to run running back or you're going to run receiver. And that night he just studies studies the playbook on what he's got to do the next day, and he's been like very seamlessly transitioning from one to the other. He's a freak athlete. He's real fast, real shifty. So I'm excited about him. Maybe
depth.
not this year. Yeah, a lot of depth now, especially. Maybe not this year, but in the coming years, if he can stay on the roster and stay healthy and stuff, I think he can be an X factor for the Browns.
I'm really excited for this year, especially for this podcast, because Steelers, Browns, and the Washington football team are all going to be pretty darn good. But especially the Browns-Steelers rivalry. I mean, it's always been a thing, but it's always been the Steelers and Ravens, the top rivalry in the division. But also, I think it's the best
At
rivalry
least since
in
we've been
football.
alive, yeah.
But now I still think, I don't know. The Steelers it'll be interesting to see. I think we're going to be a good team. I think people are sleeping on us. I think we'll be a playoff team. But the Browns, I'm just going to be realistic. They probably have the best roster on paper in the NFL.
I mean, yeah, they're right up there with the Bucks. It's them and the Bucks and
The Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs
The
as
Bills,
well.
maybe.
But I mean, when you look at the Bucks, by the way, it's like unprecedented to return all 22 starters on a team that's obviously a Super Bowl winning team. They
With
have
a 44-year-old quarterback.
yeah, the greatest quarterback of all time. I will probably have to say it now at this point. I mean, he's got 7 rings. He's running out of fingers.
No debates there.
But I mean, there's returning all 22 starters is unheard of. And then you look at like who they are and how much depth they still have. You can go from their running back position, Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. Then their wide receivers, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown,
they also
Scotty
have
Miller.
Giovanni Bernard.
Do they?
Yeah.
Giovanni Bernard now,
Mhm.
that's right. Another running back, another veteran running back that they've got who's a very solid guy. They've just got guys all over the field. At every position, it seems like they have depth. So, I mean, they're obviously a dangerous team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're back in it this year.
And AB got into a fight with one of his teammates at practice the other week, so I think the old AB is back. I think he's going to have a massive season. I wish I had him on my fantasy team. Camden, what's new with the Washington football team?
I mean, not much.
preseason action?
Preseason was kind of lackluster. You know, it always is. We never perform in the preseason, but
Did they get
yeah.
Fitzpatrick playing a decent?
Yeah, he played a little bit, but I think we got to look at everybody. We got to look at Heineke.
But they named him
Allen,
the starter, right?
Steven Montez. Yeah, he's gonna start week 1. We hurt J.K. Dobbins, which is not ideal
Yeah, that's
for us.
unfortunate.
We kind of look
as an
whatever
NFL
no name
fan.
scrub did that kind of looks bad, but now we got to look at a lot of the new guys, Curtis Samuel, some of the new pieces on defense and some more looks at the young guys and Jarrett Patterson out of Buffalo, the undrafted running back, looked decent for us, so he could find a way onto the 53, I think.
I mean, any guy who can score, what was it, like 6 or 7 touchdowns in a Division I game?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a guy you want to keep your eye on. And, yeah, he was very impressive in the couple preseason games that I saw him. And I think that adds more depth behind, what's his name?
Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson.
J.J. McKissick.
McKissick.
Yeah.
And Peyton Barber.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a really good running back room in Washington.
Yeah.
Is there any talk of, like, narrowing in on a name?
It is decided, but they're not announcing until after this season.
I saw betting lines for it, and it said that the football team is the favorite. It might stay that way.
I would literally cry.
It's not
Like,
that bad. I mean, you guys are finally
No,
good.
but like, come on.
I feel like the
We can't like
football team
anything.
football team has a lot more on the resume than the Redskins had the last 15 years.
I mean, when you
Hey,
look
we
at
made
it,
the
like
playoffs with RG3 one year.
That's fair.
when you look at it, I mean, traditionally, like look at soccer teams. Most of them are just whatever football club.
True.
Why can't Washington do that? Washington football team. I think the only thing that needs to change for me, in my opinion, if they're going to change the Washington football team, is just put the stripe back on the helmet. Why'd they take the stripe off anyway? I liked the
Who
yellow
knows?
and white thick stripe. I thought that looked really good. Now it's just maroon
All
with the
red.
numbers. I think it's a little bland, personally.
I don't know. I think they just need to decide on something and just move on.
Yeah,
like
I
I'm
would agree.
tired of hearing about it.
They should.
Like,
I don't get
I'm-
why they're waiting.
I'm tired of my favorite team. All I hear about them is their name.
Like, who's gonna buy a Washington football team jersey if they know that the name and probably jersey is gonna change in the next like 2 years?
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no point,
Yeah,
and it just looks dumb.
I
Like,
agree.
In 20 years, maybe it'll look cool when you'll be like, I got a jersey from those 2 seasons where these guys didn't even have a name, but
I think that is one thing that's kind of sad about Washington right now. As you said it, the biggest talk about them is their name. And it's kind of sad because they've got a really good team over there. And I know we'll probably get to the NFC Least watch a little later. But, I mean, right now they're basically a shoo-in to repeat as champions in that
It was-
division.
I'd say Cowboys are the favorite.
no.
Do you think?
Yeah.
No,
I would
have
have
you
to
been
say
drinking?
Washington.
No.
I would have to say Washington personally. I think Fitzmagic can, get it together for just about any team in these last couple of years. Even though he is inconsistent, I think the pieces that they have around him with Gibson, McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Logan Thomas, I think their offense is really legit. And that was kind of their issue last year. It wasn't their defense at all. Their offense was kind of the big question mark. And, I mean, look what Taylor Heineke did for them when they had an offense. They almost beat the Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, but they lost though.
Yeah,
But
to
he
the
almost
Super Bowl
he
champions.
almost beat them. Like
With
he
an-
was this
but it
close.
doesn't
with
matter.
a guy who was taking classes online 2 weeks earlier or whatever it was.
Yeah,
So I mean, and like I said, without like half of, I mean, they still had Logan Thomas and McLaurin and Gibson, but still, I mean, with a quarterback like that, now maybe a more veteran guy in there, a more experienced guy, and
yeah.
more weapons
But
around
the only
him.
reason they almost beat the Super Bowl champions is because of Heineke. Like he played
Yeah.
probably the game of his life.
Yeah, that's
true.
what we're
I was
saying.
very impressed with them.
So you need a quarterback who's going to play at an elite level every week if you want to make the playoffs.
But
Well,
we
maybe
have
not in this division, but
we have so many other pieces around it that
sometimes it doesn't matter.
and what I would consider 4 free wins in the division. 6 if Dak's arm is as really bad as they think it is.
Should we just go into the NFC least watch?
yeah,
right
let's
now?
cut
I mean, we're
to
already
it.
talking
Let's
about
cut
it.
to the NFC least watch. Just a recap for the people who are new to the show, first time listeners for season 2. The NFC least watch is where we take a look at all the teams in the NFC least, and basically it's going to be a week by week thing. See who they're playing, what's going on in the division, how bad they are. Last year, the division had a combined record of 23-40-1. That's one of the worst divisions of all time in the NFL. So it's really interesting to look at. There are teams that I like in this division. The only team that I really don't like is the Eagles. I like the football team. This is an unpopular opinion, but I kind of like the Cowboys. I like
No.
Dak. I like Zeke. I like Leighton Vander Esch. I don't like Mike McCarthy, really. But
There's 2 sides of the game to football. There's offense and there's defense. They don't have a defense.
the defense
It's
is the issue there.
non-existent.
They got a new defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, I'm pretty sure. Can't
Yeah.
even fact check that.
Yes, that is correct.
Cameron confirms that's a fact. They got a really good offense though, and the defense, if they just change some schemes around, maybe they'll be fighting to win the division this year, because Washington won the division with a 7-9 record last year. So it's not going to take that much. It's not like there's going to be a significant increase. No team's going to be going like 12-5.
For Dallas to win the division, all the pieces. One, they're gonna have to beat Washington twice. And all the pieces are gonna have to fall into place. If Zeke doesn't come back and not repeat what he did last year, there's no chance. Because
I think Zeke will have a bounce back year for sure. And I think CD,
I mean, I don't think he can really get worse than he did last year.
That's true.
So whatever he does is going to be a bounce back. But
think
is it going to
Amari-
be a bounce back to that level? No, I don't think so.
I think Amari Cooper's top. I need to be careful with the number that I say
Oh,
here
man.
because I'll get
Here we go.
Crucified
critiqued by
again.
yeah, by my co-host here. But probably top 15 receiver.
I mean,
If we
I would
broke
have
it
to
down,
agree with
I think that's pretty accurate.
Not going through the number. He's around 15.
I think that's
though.
pretty accurate. I'll give you
And
that.
I also think CD Lamb is going to take a huge leap this year. Reports coming out of training camp saying he's catching everything. He's looking a million times better. You have CD Lamb and Amari Cooper next to each other. You also got Michael Gallup. And Dak being back. I mean, it's going to be a dangerous offense for sure.
I mean, Dak is, I think, just a giant question mark at this point.
But
I mean,
I'd rather have a
he
Dak
needs
with
Tommy
half an arm.
John.
I'd rather have a Dak with Tommy John than Ben DiNucci.
I mean, I guess, with
No
the
offense, Ben DiNucci.
you don't really need
Pittsburgh guy.
so basically for the injury that Dak has, to throw a football, you don't really need what is injured. So basically, they
Yeah.
just go in, cut it, and you're good.
Yeah, it's a baseball
But-
injury.
But still, is that going to hold him back? Absolutely. Is
Maybe
taking
like 20 years ago would have when Tommy John was new.
No,
I
I
think
think-
now the science is good enough where,
And he's-
especially with an NFL player, I don't think it's going to affect him too much.
what about the ankle though?
Now the ankle's another issue. But if Alex Smith can come back after breaking his leg in half,
Yeah, but he
and win
didn't
a
do
few
anything.
games, he won a few games.
That
he
wasn't-
got you
he
guys.
didn't
you
win
guys
them.
wouldn't have been in the playoffs if
The
it wasn't
defense
for him.
There it is
won them.
again. The Washington football team won a few games with Alex Smith. I mean,
The defense won them. He didn't win anything.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the Washington football team, I'd say they easily have a top 5 defense in the league.
oh yeah, for sure. I think they're
Maybe top 3. Rams, Steelers,
No.
Washington football team.
No. Bucks, Rams, Washington.
You put Bucks
Bu-
ahead of Rams.
Yeah.
Really?
Or Bucks, Washington, St. Louis. Or not St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Los
Real
Angeles.
major
I'm
throwback
throwback
there.
there.
Forgot about those guys.
Other teams in the NFC East to look at. I think the Giants. They came in second last year, and I don't know how they did it.
Their
but-
defense is also pretty
But
good.
yeah, they're not bad on
You got
defense.
Saquon
But getting
back.
Saquon
Mhm.
back is going to be huge for them. I think it'll be interesting to see what Daniel Jones does here in year 3, right?
Yep.
3. I think it'll be interesting for him because this is really his make or break year. I think this is going to be the year that either they decide we're going to go with him for the next 2 years maybe, or he's going to get benched midseason, which is why I was surprised that Gardner Minshew, I said this before that we started recording, but I was surprised Gardner Minshew got traded to the NFC East and it wasn't the Giants. I'm surprised he went to the Eagles because not that he's a world beater, but they have Joe Flacco as a backup. So, he's a solid, he can be a solid backup.
Yeah.
Daniel
Do
Jones,
we believe
and
that?
I think Jalen Hurts is going to play the whole season, though, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking for their next guy
Mid-season.
in week 8, week 9,
Yeah.
So that's why I was surprised that
Very
Gardner
possible.
Minshew didn't go to the Giants or somewhere else that they are less confident with their quarterback.
Because they
basically.
know even if they're looking for another quarterback like week 8 or something, if they're looking for a quarterback, then it probably means that the division is outreach, which means they have a horrible record,
Well, in this
and that
division,
means that they could get a great quarterback next year in the draft
Well, I think
instead of Gardner Minshew.
if you bring-
hasn't really proved much.
if you bring Minshew in, who, he hasn't shown anything wild, but, he's proven he can start games in the NFL and not completely screw your team over. I think if you bring him into New York before the season even starts, I think it's kind of like a Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation where it's like, so you don't believe in me? And then, his morale goes down, blah, 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 blah. I think
I wouldn't
that's
compare Aaron Rodgers.
no the same situation, not
Similar
the same level
situation.
of skill.
I would
but-
say though, last year that was one big talk that we had was they brought in Jordan Love as his backup, and he came in and he could have went morale down, but he went chip on his shoulder mode and
You
had an
could do it
almost
like that.
MVP season.
But
so
when
if
you
your
have-
quarterback is too worried, personally, I'm a big mentality guy in terms of quarterbacks and football players overall. If your quarterback's rattled by bringing in a backup, then and he's not playing with a chip on his shoulder, like to prove you wrong, and he's more down on himself. I don't know if I want that as my franchise quarterback.
And you said almost MVP season.
But
Yeah, he was.
He was the MVP. That's right. My apologies,
MVP
my bad.
season.
that's where I look at it as you compare that to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has the skill to, if he has that chip on his shoulder, he can come out and prove everybody wrong. I don't care if Daniel Jones has a chip on his shoulder or not. His skill is all that he,
true. Very true.
that skill is all he's got, and he's behind one of the worst offensive lines in the league. So if he can't do anything,
The
then
Giants-
the chip on his shoulder doesn't really mean
The Giants
anything.
have some weapons now, though, at wide receiver. They got Kenny Galladay, they have Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, drafted Kadarius Toney. They
got
solid wide
better.
receivers.
They got better there.
I do think they got a lot better on offense because they're getting Saquon back. I thought
Saquon
Galladay
just
was
needs to stay healthy.
Yeah,
I think Saquon's
Galladay was
screwed.
a huge addition. I thought anyone that
staying
got
healthy?
him was going to get a huge.
That and just in general, I mean, like I said, they're behind one of the worst offensive lines in football.
He's
they're
one of
going to
those
be
guys.
they're going to be down a lot, so they're going to need to throw.
He's one of those guys that he doesn't need an elite offensive line for him to
No, but you need something.
yards.
If I'm blocking for him, he ain't getting yards.
Yeah, well, you aren't guarding for him. They got NFL players.
Yeah, but
they're not the best.
They're the lower tier of NFL
Yeah.
players.
They got a good enough defense and a good enough offense where they'll be competing for this division. The Eagles,
No.
on the other hand, will not be. They're currently in a huge rebuild. They got Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. They just traded for Gardner Minshew. I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia. They have a horrible defense. I'd say they have the worst, not the worst defense in the league, but they have the worst linebackers in the league, which is a huge part of the defense. Cornerback, I'd say, is a really strong position for the Eagles, though. Darius Slay, and they acquired Steven Nelson, who was on the Steelers previously. So, but their defense isn't good enough.
No, it's
And their offense, certainly, there's a lot of question marks around it.
yeah.
I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts yet.
I don't think anybody is, and I don't think there's any reason to be.
There are a lot of Eagles fans who are like, Jalen Hurts is
Well,
the man. He's the
I don't
future,
think
all
they're
he does
sold
is
on
They're-
him,
win.
and I
they're
think
also
that's why
delusional.
they traded for Gardner Minshew, honestly. And I think that trading for Gardner Minshew kind of shows that they're not only that they're not super confident in Jalen Hurts, but
Yeah.
also that they're not in a good place right now as a franchise because you don't trade for a backup quarterback and trade picks away and stuff like that unless you're ready to win. Or if you are ready to win right now, you don't do that. And
Yeah,
I think
they
they
are.
are just fully accepting by making that trade that we're not really ready to win right now.
Yeah, I think I don't like to keep comparing situations, but Jalen Hurts versus Daniel Jones. Like you said, if the Giants would have brought Minshew in, the Eagles didn't draft Jalen Hurts to be like, all right, we are planning on you to be our guy, because when they drafted him, they were still on can we still get Carson Wentz back to what he used to be?
Yeah.
They drafted Daniel Jones at 4 to be like, we are planning and hoping that you're going to be our guy coming on. So Jalen Hurts, they can bring a backup in and not have to worry about it because he can, they can say, well, you still got to prove that you can be our guy going down into the future. It wasn't planned that you were going to be because of, bye-bye Carson and what he did for us. Now those are the shoes you have to fill. And we can't leave you out there as the only option for that. I don't know why you guys keep saying Flacco. That's just unbelievable that you think he could
Not elite.
do
He's an elite
anything.
quarterback.
Not
No.
elite.
What
Talking
what
about.
year are we in? 2012? But
The
no.
2012 playoffs, that's
Yeah.
it.
He's
When the
Super
lights
Bowl
go out.
MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Daniel Jones draft pick was the most shocking.
Oh,
draft
yeah,
pick
it
in
was
recent
bad.
Memory,
But
in my memory at all, to be honest, I can't remember any other draft pick in the NFL where people were like, "What the heck?" No one saw that coming.
I think overall, over any sport, maybe the most shocking since like the Cavs took Anthony Bennett first overall.
Was
Remember
that shocking at
No.
the time though?
Well-
When he
Oh,
projected.
I never even
yeah.
heard of him.
Really?
well,
I mean,
no.
I mean, I was also like
People
in
heard
middle
of-
school,
but,
still.
like-
Bennett from
but no one
UNLV.
thought he was going to be like
No.
top 15.
Really?
No.
And
Yeah,
then they
it
took him
was
over
like
number one.
yeah, it was
overall.
a crazy.
The
It
only
was
other
crazy
pick
reach.
I can
I mean,
think about
that was still bad draft overall. the
Oh,
NBA
that's
draft,
one of
but
the
still.
worst in
Probably.
But,
NBA
but yeah,
history.
Anthony Bennett, like, come on.
I remember the Kristaps Porzingis when he got drafted. New York.
Well, that was
like,
just
what the heck?
that was just people not being educated.
Who the
Yeah,
heck is
it was
Tingus
just-
New York Knicks fans they're
Yeah.
just brain dead. They were brain dead at that point. Their organization was so under the ground.
They're back though.
Yeah,
They're on
Julius
their way
Randle
back.
really
I don't know
brought
about
that
back.
franchise back.
Back's a
But
strong
whatever.
word to use.
Yeah. Forget
Anyway,
that.
back to the NFL. Looking at the NFC East, I mean, I talked about, I like Washington a lot. I think the Giants are all right, and we talked about the Cowboys. Could be the favorite to win this division. So, is there any division that's worse than them? I'm looking at all the other divisions right now, and I feel like, is there any other division that might have a worse record this year? AFC South kind of draws
That's
my
one
eye
that
to
was
them
coming to mind
because
first.
they have the Texans who are in shambles right now. I don't know what's going on. No one knows what's going on with Deshaun Watson. No one really knows what's going on with anything. The Jaguars are still very much so rebuilding. I think the Titans are solid. I think the Titans are a solid team. And the Colts
Don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, I was going to say they don't have a quarterback.
They will.
I
Who?
think
He's
they
only
have
out a
good
few weeks.
defense, but
Wentz is only out a few weeks.
What isn't
okay,
it?
but they don't have a solid, legitimate
I think
quarterback.
he's
that
gonna have a bounce back year too. I
I
think
wouldn't be surprised. I think they have weapons for him, and I think they have a good defense. I think they could surround him to make him have a bounce back year. But
Andrew Luck's coming back.
That's another team probably with a top 5 defense. Maybe
Yeah, they're
top
pretty good.
8.
yeah, I think they have a very good defense, and it all starts with Darius Leonard. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of the best linebackers, if not the best linebacker in the league right
Yeah.
now. It's him, and to me, it's him and Fred Warner are the top two. I mean,
I'll
Bobby
do that.
Wagner's always up there, but I think he's nearing the end of his career.
Yeah,
kind
that's
of.
what I was gonna say.
But
Or
yeah,
do
I
we
think-
consider T.J. Watt a linebacker?
He's a
Okay, he's
he is
the top two
technically a
inside
line-
linebackers.
yeah.
My
Okay,
bad.
thank you
But
for
no,
clarification.
I do say T.J. Watt's a linebacker, and that's why when people say he's better than Myles Garrett, I go, they play different positions,
Yeah.
right? But that's a whole other conversation. We'll get to that.
The only other division that I could see having a worse record be the NFC North.
Yeah,
don't
that was
think-
the other one that caught my eye because of the Bears and the Lions.
But the Vikings are always going to get wins too.
Yeah,
Like games that you don't care about, they're going to get wins.
Uh-huh.
The Packers, they're going to be good.
they have Aaron
Lions,
Rodgers, so
the Lions might be better. I don't know if they will be better than last season though. Downgrade at quarterback, new coach Dan Campbell. I love Dan Campbell. He's awesome.
that guy's a psychopath.
And he might be. And then the Bears, it all depends on when they give they send Andy Dalton to the bench and put Justin Fields in because he was electric in preseason. He was fun to watch.
I
I
would
didn't,
agree.
I didn't
I was
watch
impressed
Bears
with
preseason, so I wouldn't know.
I mean,
The
I
only
would watch
thing-
the highlights, but this guy's
The only
something
thing
else.
about Justin Fields was his first passing touchdown. I mean, the scheme on that play, the guy was wide open. I don't know if you
No
saw
one
it.
was
There was no one else on the screen.
20 feet away from
Yeah,
him. Yeah.
There was no
It
one
kinda
within
weird.
15 yards of him. There was no one else on the screen. He caught it at like the 8-yard line and literally backwards
That might have
walked
been
in.
Jesse James.
Did they, yeah,
the
they
Steelers.
do have him now,
I
right?
think that was Jesse James.
Yeah.
Jesse caught it. By the way, I just needed an excuse to say that one more time on this show. All right, let's lock in our preseason picks. Or should we wait until next week to do this?
I say we wait until next week.
For right now, this is just a
we'll
little
keep
preview.
him hanging a little bit.
Yeah, a little bait.
Mm.
So bite on that a little bit for next week. We'll give you our official NFC East locks, and we'll give you the lines for those as well. All right, let's move on. Other stuff other than preseason, the players' top 100 list. I'm not a huge. Well, it's interesting to see what the players think, but like I'm never gonna sit down, turn on NFL Network, and be like, this is interesting to see what. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a random player talking about someone else. I just don't care. I just don't really care about it, and it's always like there's always controversial stuff in there that's just not interesting to me. But it's good to talk about. Some people like this stuff. Do you guys watch? Do you guys watch it, or do you just see like?
I personally watch every single one every single year. I
Really?
watch every number.
Really?
Yeah, I love. They
Through
put them up
one.
on YouTube, so I'll watch them like 20 at a time.
Damn.
And I love them. I mean, one big reason too is because we're usually in camp when they come out, so there's not too much to do in between
Yeah.
practice and meetings and stuff. So I usually turn that on while I'm icing my ankles or knees or something like that.
Watch a quick little
But-
100 through 80.
What's that?
Watch a quick
Yeah,
little 100
exactly.
through 80.
100
Oh,
through
yeah.
80. I love it. I'm always interested to see what what the guys think about their opponents and their teammates. And also, I mean, as a player, I like listening to what they think makes
Yeah.
the other guys good, because then you watch it in a game and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. Just like he said, he's got great sideline to sideline movement or something like that.
Mhm.
But I do think there are a lot of guys that aren't on the list that should be, or that people forget about in different ways. But I mean, when you look at it, 100 guys in a league of 32 teams with 53 guys on each roster, people are going to get good players are going to get left off. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I know the big one for Camden was Terry McLaurin, which I was very surprised he didn't make the list. I think he's a legit elite receiver, and he didn't make the list, which surprised me because a lot of guys have a lot of respect for him, and a lot of guys recognize like what he's doing. So that was one for me that I was surprised. Camden, any other snubs that you thought were surprising or should not have been?
No, I mean, Terry McLaurin was the big one. I mean, if he wasn't on there, it's not the end of the world. But then I look at the guys who made it over him: Cole Beasley, Jarvis Landry, Corey Davis. Like, that's like Brick Hands Godwin. Like, it's unbelievable the people that Slant Boy, who literally hasn't done anything in the last 3 years, is
year.
on there still. It feels like 3 years.
It does feel like 3 years,
But no, I mean, I don't know. I just never think the list really makes sense because, like how can you compare an O lineman being better than like a wide receiver? Like, I don't really understand how the comparisons really work. Like, how do they vote on it? Like, do they just like
they fill out like a
They give him a
paper.
so they just give them
20
every
man roster.
every NFL player in the league, and you just check off who's
Well, they just
in the
give
top
you
100?
a blank list that just has 1 through 20, and they fill them out. So
Speaking
and
of
then-
that, the NFL, we were talking about this before we recorded, but the NFL posted pictures of players like written out forms, and one of them said like number 3, Patrick Holmes. I was like, who's Patrick Holmes? Am I like, thought I was having a stroke or something. I was like, how do I not know the 3rd best player? I was, oh, he meant Patrick Mahomes. How does an NFL player not know that his name isn't
That was probably Laramie
Patrick
Tunsil or
Holmes.
something. He was probably off his rocker or something. But no,
his gas mask?
I mean, I don't know. And it's all player voted, so it's a ton of respect thing. Like, Tom Brady's over Josh Allen and Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson. Like, if you think Tom Brady is better than those 3 in this day and age, it's just not realistic.
Yeah, when I stopped really, I used to care about the NFL top 100, but after they put Lamar number 1 last year, I was like, I don't care about this anymore. He's not the number 1 player in the NFL. For me, the biggest snub was putting Minka Fitzpatrick at number 52, who is probably top 2 or 3 safety in the league. So I thought he should have been at least top 35.
I think the biggest snub is McCaffrey at 44.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
he
That's
also he played like 2 games.
but
Still.
Michael Thomas.
You can't say he's not the best running back in football.
Yeah, but
You
he played
can.
2 games.
I'd put
Still.
Derrick Henry above him.
Well, you just said that Michael Thomas shouldn't get in the 70s.
Well, Michael Thomas has proven he's not that good.
Yeah, but running back, what am I saying here? I think that there are a lot more wide receivers that are worthy of being called a top 100 player. There aren't that many running backs that I'd say are worthy of being a top 100 player in the NFL.
I will
McCaffrey
say,
is one of those.
Yeah, I think receiver is probably the hardest position to do it at because there are the way the passing game is in the NFL right now, obviously a lot of guys are going to put up big numbers, but there's so many talented guys playing receiver right now that you can name a bunch of very talented guys that aren't on this list. I mean, I said it before we started recording again that, I was happy that Juju wasn't on it, just kind of poking fun at Dom. But he said something about Deontay Johnson. I said, oh, yeah, he wasn't on the list either. And neither was Chase Claypool. And those are 3 good, very, very good, respected receivers. Along with Terry McLaurin, I said Curtis Samuel, I think, is another very good electric receiver, not on the list. There's you can really rattle off name after name of guys who are very respected across the whole league and are very talented that just didn't make the list because, like I said, when you really narrow it down, 100 guys in the league is not that many.
Yeah, and that's why when you're drafting fantasy, they tell you, or most people would say, draft a running back first because there's going to be plenty of depth at wide receiver that will get you points. However, in my fantasy football league, I had the number 6 pick, and I drafted Devontae Adams. I went against my logic. But it's Devontae Adams in a PPR league.
It all depends
Yeah.
on who
He's going
falls
to
to
get
you.
like 50 points in a game or something.
Yeah, especially in PPR leagues. Like last year, I had I don't remember where it was, but I had a first round. Obviously, I had a first round pick. Everyone gets one. But I took Michael Thomas. And unfortunately, obviously, it didn't work out. He didn't play very much. But it was PPR. I said, yeah, he'll get like 10 catches a game, even if he
should've.
has 80 yards. That's still, 10 points, 18
Yeah.
points, and and then a touchdown. That'll make it 20 plus points.
It's a lot of
So,
points.
and I mean, yeah, it's obviously a lot of points. And now there's the whole zero running. If we're shifting over to fantasy football talk, there's the whole zero running backs strategy right now, where it's just any running back is up or down on any given year. So let's just focus on quarterbacks and receivers and tight
Yeah.
ends, and whatever running back we can get, we'll take him. And I think that's a pretty interesting way of looking at it personally.
I
but-
made a trade, and I want to know what you and the listeners think about this trade and who won.
Boy.
I'm not going to tell you who made the trade or who got which players, but I'll say it here quick.
While Dom pulls that up, another thing about the top 100 that was interesting to me was at 67 was outside linebacker KJ Wright, who is not currently on a roster.
Yeah, I found that interesting too.
It's like that makes a lot of sense.
They also put Deshaun Watson. We're 18, number
yeah.
18. That was pretty interesting. But if he did play this year, he would have been top 10. I'm pretty sure.
I thought the most interesting part about Deshaun Watson being up there was, I went on and I watched the clip, and for every guy that they have, that it's like 4 minutes usually of a lot of different guys amongst the league saying what they're good at, what they respect them about, what their best players of the year were, and then there's a voiceover guy that comes in and makes some cheesy joke like, oh, he's not just good at demolishing things off the field,
Yep,
but also
that guy.
blockers or something like that. He's got a good voice.
He
but
does.
Just some cheesy jokes. For Deshaun Watson's, it was like barely over a minute, and no one talked.
I saw that.
And it was just him going, his future is unknown, but his talent is not, and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. And
It was weird.
It was like, yeah, he's number 11 or whatever it is,
It was
and that's
really
it.
strange.
Like, let's not focus on anything else, but he's a good football player. Let's go to the next guy.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty interesting.
It would have been interesting to hear what players said about that, but I guess they couldn't have been like pumping him up and stuff and being like, he's the best player I've ever seen, and then he'll probably never play again.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I'll say this fantasy thing quick, and then we'll move on. Patrick Mahomes, Myles Gaskin, and Noah Fant
Oh,
for
man.
Matt Stafford, George Kittle, and Joe Mixon.
You had Mahomes.
I don't know. You tell me.
Whoever got
I hope you
Stafford, Kittle, and Mixon, I would say won.
That's
No.
me.
No,
No.
That's me.
No.
So
got-
now everyone
you
knows
got
who won.
It's
You
actually-
already-
it is-
listeners,
it
you
is
know
hard to
how
say
long I have a point
because-
in this.
It's hard to say because in fantasy, in most leagues, rushing touchdowns are more than passing.
Yeah.
And obviously, Mahomes is going to have. I think Mahomes is going to have more passing touchdowns, but also he's going to have more rushing touchdowns. I think Mixon's a better running back than Gaskin.
It's
but,
close though.
No.
But I feel like every year people are like Mixon's going to have a big year, and then he doesn't.
And last year he was having a really good year, and then he got hurt.
Yeah, he was having a pretty good year, and I think Kittle is the saving grace because he's obviously
Top two,
a lot
three tight
better
end.
tight end.
No,
than Fant.
top three. Not two. Waller.
Kelsey, Waller, Kittle. You could replace Waller and Kittle, I'd say though. They're easily swappable.
Yeah,
No.
I think Waller is probably up there. I don't know. Yeah, those three are kind of in a three-way
Yeah,
tie.
I'd say Kelsey's easily number one for fantasy just because he gets touchdowns. A lot of those.
Oh,
I
in fantasy terms, I would say Waller's
yeah,
better.
yeah.
Sorry, I was just
I don't
thinking.
know.
I was still thinking NFL top.
Oh,
100.
as
No.
a football player,
I'd take.
I don't
Kittle.
know if I can put Kittle above Kelsey, but I'd definitely put him above Waller.
Yeah, for fantasy, Waller is top two, and he might be one, honestly.
This year he
Yeah.
could be.
But just because I think the Raiders have less weapons than the Chiefs, I think he gets more targets than Kelsey, and Kelsey gets a lot of targets. But whatever. What were we even talking about? Oh,
We were talking about NFL 100.
I think. No, I was sorry. I was still thinking about your trade.
oh,
Nah, you lost.
It's a tough one.
it's really tough.
Because I think if you had Mahomes, I think that
That's
goes
huge.
a long way.
But Stafford, I think, is going to have a huge year.
Nothing near Mahomes.
I also
Not even
like-
close.
Probably
I also like Myles
not.
Gaskin. I think he's going to have a lot of.
I
receiving
like
yards.
Myles
You're-
Gaskin too.
You're guaranteed 20 points a week from Mahomes.
Is
I
it a
think
PPR?
Stafford will. Yeah, it is PPR. I think Stafford
No.
will not score that. I mean, over the course of the year, it'll look like he had a lot less points, but like week to week, he's still going to be putting numbers up. And if I can get better pieces around that QB's a lot more replaceable than wide receiver, running back, tight
I don't know.
end.
I take it back. I don't think you got fleeced, but
No,
I don't,
not
I don't
fleeced.
think I don't think you won.
That's fair.
I would.
Well, okay.
I don't know. Maybe you addressed your needs. I'm not
If-
going to say because man,
Yeah,
I don't know
I'd
what
have
you
to-
needed on
yeah.
your team. But
I don't know.
I needed a tight
personally,
end.
if I could pick,
Who was your tight end before?
Noah Fant, who
yeah,
looking back
I don't
on
know.
it, I was like, maybe
I think his
didn't
value
have
went
to make
up.
that trade.
I think his value went up now that
With
Bridgewater's starting
I know.
because
Yeah.
Locke is,
Not
Drew Lock.
great.
But
I don't know. I mean, if I had to pick which 3 players I want to start my fantasy team, like those are my first 3 draft picks. I have to pick either those 3 or the other 3.
Yeah,
I would probably take Mahomes, Gaskin, and Fant.
yeah.
But like I said, I don't know what your team
That's
needs
fair.
are and stuff. I don't know who you have.
Yeah,
But
knowing that.
I mean, I think that's a pretty fair trade.
I don't
honestly.
like. I hate my team. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm
hate my
nervous for
fantasy
What's the
mine.
name?
The name
Oh god.
Hospula's 50 Burgers.
I love that. That's awesome. That's
Mine
cool
is-
as the goat.
mine
We can
is,
get him
The
Uh,
50 Burgers. Can we please get Hospula on the pod?
50 burger. All right.
Boogers.
Do we want to go to Twitter questions?
Sure,
Stuff.
sure. Pull them things up.
All right. If you're not following us yet, go to Twitter at North Shore Pod and give us a follow to stay up and see when we'll put up tweets about sending in questions and things like that. So you can get your question on the pod. That's at North Shore Pod, and I think we're on Instagram as well. Is it North Shore Pod or the North Shore Pod, whatever?
Something
it is.
along those lines.
Something along
You'll
those
find
lines.
it.
You'll find it eventually. Give us all a follow also while you're on there. Give us some more clout.
The Instagram will be being used for season 2, by the
Good.
way.
We'll be
throwing
It
some
wasn't
reels.
really used much for season 1. I apologize.
I don't
Season
have the
2,
login, so that's not on me.
Speaking of which, I'm going to do a post right now on the Instagram story.
Good.
So,
Good. I love to hear that. But our first question
what's up?
comes in from
What the-
Ryan Polk, my good friend, at King Periwinkle. And he just straight up asked it, who will win a ring next, Cleveland or Pittsburgh? And he doesn't say Pittsburgh, but we'll
You
keep
can
it
fill in the
PC.
blank.
We can throw a beep in there. A beep.
Oh yeah, sorry. Who will win, Cleveland or
Ah,
Pittsburgh?
now I'm editing.
Bleepsburg,
Great.
excuse me.
You were supposed to do the bleep cam.
All right, so he's not necessarily saying this year.
Now, just first.
So first, I mean, not gonna lie, you're not gonna like that I say this, Tom, but you have to like Cleveland first.
Do I? Do I need
No,
to do
I don't
that?
think
I
so.
mean, you don't have to, but the general public, the general consensus would be you have to like Cleveland over Pittsburgh.
Probably.
Why do you say
Like
that?
as a favorite?
Yeah, because I think this year Pittsburgh might have just as good of a chance. I mean, a little less of a chance compared to the Browns, but this year I think they have a very good chance. I think depending on Ben, but after Ben leaves, it really hinges on how Dwayne Haskins or Mason Rudolph plays, or if they get a different quarterback. So just asking who will win a ring next, Cleveland just has more consistency right now over the next 5 years.
Yeah,
they have
but-
Baker. He's going to sign a extension. Miles signed an extension. Nick Chubb signed an extension. Denzel Ward is, if he didn't already, he's nearing extension talk.
But who's had consistency over the last 50 years?
That's how I'm
Who's got
looking
the
at
standard?
it. But
The
You know-
Pittsburgh Steelers standard, we win.
But who's also the most recent to win a playoff game?
not you.
Oh, that's
All right.
wild, isn't
I think you look at it in the future, like if Pittsburgh has a quarterback like, now I'm not high on Baker Mayfield either, but I'm higher on Baker Mayfield than Dwayne Haskins, Mason Rudolph, or whatever rookie quarterback they draft, because whoever they go with there, unless Haskins starts to go off, they're not gonna, like, a rookie quarterback's not gonna get drafted and win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years from when he's drafted. So I think if they had a solid if they trade for Deshaun Watson, I say Pittsburgh.
What about Ben Roethlisberger this
Oh
year?
my!
I think you guys
Lanta.
are forgetting about.
No, that's what I'm
Somebody.
saying. I
No.
think I said it. If Ben can come back and be Ben that he once was, then I could see them having just as good of a shot as the Browns, because I think that
Guy is massive. Sorry, everybody. Just one of the largest people I've ever seen. Not like fat, but like ripped. That dude was big.
Which
Sorry.
one? Ramon?
Maybe
There was
Ramon.
a couple Dukes. That was a couple Dukes out
A couple
there.
Dukes. They're looking
Yeah,
big.
there's like
They're looking
4
ready
Dukes
to take
out
down
there.
TCU.
Yeah, Horned Frogs better look out for the Dukes
Uh-huh.
this weekend.
Hammer the plus 48.5 for the Duke game versus TCU if you can, because that's a lock. Sorry for getting off topic there. My apologies.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think Najee Harris goes a long way. I think that helps their run game a lot. I think they still need to do some work up front on the offensive line.
I like our offensive line.
But I think that they have pieces this year to make a run and be a good team, as long as Ben can be vintage Ben Roethlisberger and make some throws every
Not have to
game and
throw
get
it
out of some
60
sacks
times a
where you're
game,
like, wow.
Especially with a 17-game season.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's kind of asking a lot for Ben at this point in his career. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
So I think this year it's neck and neck, but
Moving
if neither
forward
of
in the
them
next
win,
4 years.
yeah, that's right. Moving forward, I would have to take the Browns.
But who's to say Steelers or Browns will win in the next 4 years? And then,
No, they won't.
all right, watch it.
Neither
over there.
team you're not going to win a Super Bowl without an elite quarterback. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, so
and
the
neither
Browns don't
team
have
has it.
one?
No. If you think Baker's elite, you gotta
Did you see the throw he made the other night?
in a preseason game.
No matter what
I don't
game
know.
it's in, it's still a throw.
Hey, it doesn't matter to me. And he's proven he's good. He's
He's proven
he's
that
a-
every year he's made strides.
He's an average quarterback.
He's proven that in 3 different systems with 3 different head coaches and 4 different offensive
I don't care.
coordinators.
He's an
He
above
turned
average.
his team into a playoff winning team.
He's an
He
above
didn't
average
do that.
quarterback.
He
he
led
not-
his team to
I
a
wouldn't even say
playoff
that.
winning team that was one targeting call away from beating the team that ended up being in the Super Bowl.
I think he's the same situation as Washington. All the pieces are around him, and he's just good enough to not screw it all up.
I would hardly disagree. But all right,
Why do you say that?
because he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I
I'd say
didn't.
he's
I didn't
above
say he
average.
was bad.
You said he was average. I'd say
I'd say he's an
an
average-
elite winning
An
quarterback.
average quarterback in the NFL.
He's an elite winning
out of the
quarterback.
32 starting quarterbacks in the league, he's right in the middle.
back to the
somewhere
question.
between
Camden, who will
12
win the
and-
Super Bowl first, Steelers or Browns?
If I had to pick one, it would be the Browns right now.
Okay.
But that could change. With,
Camden was just arguing against his
whoever.
own
No,
pick.
No,
I didn't-
He thinks the Browns are in a better situation than Pittsburgh, but
Yeah.
he thinks that.
I'm not going to deny
but
But
it.
he's
neither.
in a
I'm saying
fairy
neither.
tale land
No,
where-
neither team
where
is going to
Baker
win this
Mayfield-
year, or in
We'll
the next
see.
2
We'll
or
see
3.
about all that.
So when the Browns win it and Baker Mayfield's Super Bowl MVP, are you
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
buy me a jersey?
Yeah, I'll buy you 4 of them. I'll buy you.
You wanna
the-
shake
I'll
on
buy
that?
you the entire.
You want to
53
shake on that right
Absolutely.
now? Thank you.
I will buy
Thank
you the entire 53-man roster.
I don't think you
All
can
right.
afford that.
If-
It's
All right.
like $50 million.
Well, that's how
a lot.
confident. That's how
If
confident.
if you get the authentic jersey,
Yeah,
from
that's gonna be
NFL.com,
No, DH.
How about
We're
just
going
one-
to
how about
DH
just-
on
DH
that
How
one.
about just one jersey if the Browns win the Super Bowl?
I'll buy him. one
And you have
jersey.
to pee yourself.
I
on
have-
the podcast.
Yes, I like that. And
I have to pee myself. That's just.
And you have
that's
to wear a
just
diaper around.
inhumane.
You have to wear a diaper
I have to
around
wear-
campus for one day.
Well, nobody will see it though.
True.
You mean I have to walk around no pants on?
Oh
my
yeah,
diaper?
no, over your shorts.
Over my shorts.
You have to
is
sprint
getting out of
down
control.
A-walk with a Browns flag and nothing but a diaper.
Oh my
That's
lord.
that's out of control.
That's my.
I don't know
That's
if I
that,
can
there it
support
is.
that. I don't know if legally I can support that.
Yeah, Kenny G will
Already-
be
Just
chasing
pee
me
in
down on that
yourself.
one.
Just pee yourself and buy him a jersey.
think-
A good friend of the show, Kendall Beck underscore or at underscore Kendall underscore Beck underscore tweets at us NFC least predictions. We'll get to that next week.
Yup.
Like we said, we're gonna leave you guys
We
hanging
teased
for a little bit.
earlier, but we'll be back.
And then at Brock Madonic asking a Steelers question: which of the 3, Juju, Deontay, and Claypool, who will have the most productive season? And we talked about this a little bit before. I think not that I like him at all, but I think Claypool. I like him as a player. I don't like him as a person. I think Claypool. I think he's a freak athlete. I think if he can, keep refining his route tree and stuff like that, he's shown that he can make a lot of tough catches, a lot of very impressive catches. So I would say him. But I like Deontay Johnson a lot too. I've said from like the very beginning of last year that I think Deontay Johnson's a very legit number one slot receiver on just about any team in the league.
Yeah. I think if we're going for career-wise, I'd have to say Claypool. I'd agree with you there. But if we're just going from, like, last season, this season, I'm saying Juju. I think Juju's going to have a big year. Not the biggest, he's not going to be top 5 receiver in the league, but I think he's going to have a lot more production than he did last year.
Do you think he'll be more productive than Deontay and Claypool, though?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Of those three, you're going to take Juju above.
I think I'm going to take Juju.
If you had a fantasy pick and those three were on the board, which one would you take? You go
Probably Juju, yeah. Juju or Claypool. Maybe Claypool.
Claypool's going to get more touchdowns, but
I
Juju's
would-
going to
I
get more
would
yards.
Yeah.
Juju's going to get it done where it needs to be done.
But it-
'cause that's what
Juju
he
might
does.
have more catches. I think Claypool will have more touchdowns, and their yards will be pretty similar, but I think Claypool might have more.
Well, you got to look. Juju's head's not in the game as well. You know, he's
Why
over
not?
doing the crate challenge,
cares?
handing out money at Pitt.
Who cares? What's he supposed to do? Was he just supposed to,
obsessed
he's
with the
supposed to
challenge.
play football all day?
Yes.
No. All right. I would
Yes,
like.
like
that's
every
all you
other
can do.
NFL player in the league.
No, they have their own lives. They can do whatever they
But
want.
is that really a great idea? Would you be bashing him if you read a report that doing the crate challenge over at Pitt, Juju fell off, broke his leg, and is out for
But-
6 weeks?
Yeah,
Would you
that's,
say
that's
something
been
if
an argument.
Odell Beckham Jr. was doing the crate challenge?
Odell's a bad example. Odell's a
I'm
bad
like-
example.
Yeah.
Odell's a better athlete.
He's a
and he
moron,
would,
too.
And he would.
I don't
So-
think
he would
I don't,
smash it.
I don't think any NFL wide receiver is gonna fall during the crate challenge.
No, I don't think so.
Their
either.
But what if he
balance,
did?
their strength, their core strength, like they're not gonna shake at all on that thing. If he did fall, yeah, that's been an argument from a lot of people, but there's no if. He
But-
walked over a few crates, and he walked off the crates. Simple as that.
If you say so.
I just don't care, honestly. He plays football. He can do whatever he wants in his personal life, unless, like, if he's driving his car 100 miles an hour, yeah, it's dumb. But it's like a crate. You're not gonna like hurt yourself that bad. Maybe twist an ankle, which wouldn't be awesome, but it would be like it's no big deal. It's not like I just don't think any NFL player, even if they were to fall off of it, would hurt themselves that bad.
I mean, it's possible.
How though?
You could land wrong. You could split your groin or something.
I want to do the milk crate challenge.
You go ahead.
I don't know
You
where
can
to
go
get. I don't know where to get 30 milk crates.
You have fun with that.
Juju's got some down over at Pitt.
I guess so.
Was that where he was doing it? On,
Yeah,
You know,
he was giving it if you did it, you got $1,000. But he stopped after
Really?
like
What?
he stopped after like the first 10.
Just
people.
if you did it, or
Yeah,
if you like
if you
like,
completed it.
without
Oh,
fun.
You had to complete it without falling.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of a different.
I still
issue.
could. I think I could do it with one knee, personally.
Really.
I think I have the balance. I've been working a lot on my balance. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's all I do in
That's all you
rehab.
can
So,
do.
yeah.
I want to try to do it. I think I'd be like shaking a lot up at the top though. If someone can send us 30, well, I don't know how many, 15 milk crates, please send them. DM me. We will do
at
it.
North Shore
We will
Pod.
do it in the studio.
Oh,
DMs are
yeah, that's a
open.
great
I don't
idea.
know if there's enough room in here, to be honest.
That's
But
an awesome
It might be a
idea.
little short.
Our final question does not come from Twitter, but it comes from a text from a sports group message that I'm part of. And with a 17 game season, I got a question. Will anyone surpass 5,000 yards passing this year? And if so, who?
This year, maybe Mahomes.
I could say, I mean,
I
obviously.
think Mahomes.
I mean, I think that's kind of the easy answer to
I
be
think-
honest, because I wouldn't be that surprised if he did.
I think Mahomes is the almost the one you could consider a lock for it. But
Dak.
like I think Dak could do it if
Oh,
Dak's
you were gonna
healthy.
say that too?
Well, yeah. They're going to be
You were
down a
hating on
lot, so they'll
Dak.
be throwing the ball. Well, if he can, you know what I mean. Josh Allen, they're going to be throwing the ball a ton, so
Yeah.
he could do it as well. Russell Wilson, he could do it.
I don't know.
Um,
about all that.
The
Taylor
top-
Heineke, he'll probably throw 6,000.
The top 5 quarterbacks in the league in terms of passing yards last year were Deshaun Watson with 4,800, Patrick Mahomes
Wait,
4,700. Yeah, Deshaun Watson led the league last year in passing yards. Patrick Mahomes with 4,700, Tom Brady with 4,633. Matt Ryan
Oh,
came in at
Lord.
4th, which surprised me, 4,581. And Josh Allen was 5th with 4,544. Justin Herbert, by the way, was 6th, 4,336.
I could see Herbert doing it.
I was going to say Herbert wouldn't surprise me. Rodgers was 6th. I could see Rodgers doing it.
I think someone will definitely break 5,000 yards, though.
I mean, if Deshaun Watson had one more game, if they would have played 17 games
Yeah.
last year, I wouldn't doubt that he would have gotten over 170 yards and gotten it because he finished at 4,823. So
Peyton Manning has the most yards in the season. He was with the Broncos,
No.
Something like that.
probably. I'm not sure how many yards, but I think it was clear over 5,000. But
Most passing yards in a season, NFL record is what is that? All right, never mind. Keep going.
forget it.
Drew
Look
Brees
it
had
up yourself.
5,000 in 2008, 5,069 yards. Also,
Nice.
2012. Okay, 2012, Drew Brees had 5,100. Oh, apparently 2011 he had 5,476. But Peyton Manning in 2013 had 5,477.
Mm-hmm.
Beat him by 1 yard. So
Yeah.
there you go. There's
All
your
right,
answer.
so I think Mahomes has to. He might even beat Manning's record this year.
I actually remember that there was an asterisk, or there was a lot of debate over it because, or maybe that was a different record that he broke that year, but there was a throw that was a screen, and originally in the stat book they called it a rush because it was a backwards pass,
Mm-hmm.
but then they like reviewed it and it was like just on that line,
So they gave it to him by
so they
1
gave
yard.
it to him. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Something
crazy.
like that. I don't remember if that was the
I
exact.
don't
If that
remember
was
that
even
either.
that might not have even been the year, but some record that Peyton Manning broke. I remember that being.
It's pretty
reviewed.
nuts. All right, we are almost done with this episode. I'd say one last thing before we go. Let's run through a few of the season win totals for this upcoming year. So these odds are from Caesar Sportsbook, I want to say. If that's a thing, might be making that up. BetMGM. Anyways, they come from some betting site. That's all that matters here. Forget the specifics. Chiefs win total 12. The favorite is the over minus 130 plus 110 under. So I think that means one thing. They're going over 12 wins.
They play the NFC least.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. That's a good point.
Oh wow, yeah, I would have
There's
to
a
take
few
it then.
free wins.
There's
yeah,
4
over
free
12.
ones.
All right, we all lock in over 12.
Yeah.
Buccaneers 11.5. The under is the favorite here, minus 120 over plus 100.
Who also plays the NFC least.
Yeah, and 11.5, 17 game season. Same team coming back that just won the Super Bowl.
I'll take the over.
I'll take the over. There's a lot of value in that too.
Probably, yeah.
Packers over under set at 11. The favorite's also the under here. I'm going over again.
No.
No, under?
I'd have to look
Under
at the
11
schedule
wins?
to.
I was gonna say
Packers.
that, I'm not positive who their schedule is, but
I don't need to see it. This is Aaron
I
Rodgers'
think
last
Aaron
dance.
Rodgers is gonna have another
Tear it up.
ridiculous season. I'm gonna hope for him that he does at least because I would like to see it. I'm gonna say over 11.
I guess their division's kind of bad. Can I go even? Can I say 11?
Sure.
Can I be hard-headed?
Sure,
I'll go
there you
11.
go. No money for Camden there, though. Ravens, 11 as well. These are both pretty much a pick 'em, minus 105, minus 115. I'm going to go under. I think they'll win 10 games.
No, I'd go
Um,
over on that one.
This one's a tough one for me.
I like Baltimore.
because I think they'll be second in the division because I think the Browns are.
I think
gonna
they'll
win
be
the division.
third.
No, I think they'll either win the division or come in second. Don't get mad at me, Dom, but I think the Steelers will be in third. So
I disagree respectfully.
yeah, I'll go push too. I'll go 11. No, I'm just kidding. I'll go over. I'll say over with the 17 game season. Yeah, sure.
What do you think, Camden?
Yeah, I
With
think
the
over.
Baltimore hat on.
I think over. No, I mean, I don't like the Ravens, but I'd say over for.
What if they played at Camden Park? Then would you like them?
Well, first off, never call it Camden Park.
What's it called?
Yards.
Camden, Yards, at Oriole
My
Park.
bad. Who cares?
God.
It's baseball. Who
Camden
cares?
Yards at Oriole Park.
My bad.
Oh,
All right. If they
man,
played
my
at
blood is
Camden
boiling.
Yards, would you like them?
No.
Oh, that's right. Weren't you named after the Camden Yards?
So you still
was,
wouldn't even be a
so-
Ravens fan, even
No.
if that was their.
What if they were like? What if it was like Candlestick Park, where like the Niners and the Athletics played there? Like, what if the O's and the Ravens both played there?
At,
Would you be a Ravens fan then?
Or
no,
wait,
I wouldn't switch
the
up.
A's
on
didn't
Washington.
play at no. The A's didn't play at Candlestick. They played at
Or who played at
the
Candlestick?
Raiders.
The Raiders and
The Raiders had like that baseball field.
Yeah, but Candlestick was originally a baseball field and a football field.
Giants didn't play there.
they didn't play there at the same time though. I don't think
I don't know. Whatever.
the A's and the
The A's played at Candlestick as
I
well.
don't know. They've been in the
It might have
Coliseum
been
for
the Giants. I don't know. who
Giants
it
have
was.
Oracle Park.
Whatever. You're thinking of. Oh wait, never mind. Go on.
Rams 10.5. The under is the favorite here.
I'll say under.
I'll say over.
I'd say under.
All right.
Not high
Simple
on
as
the
that.
Not
They
high
got
on the
the
Rams.
best defense in the league. They got Matty Stafford. They got weapons. The running back is questionable. If they had a good running back, I'd really be sold on the Rams. It'd
They
probably
just traded for running back. Who was it?
Sony Michelle.
Sony
yeah.
Michel. That's right.
Just no.
After
Nah,
Cam Akers
who
tore his
cares?
Achilles. Yeah.
Nothing special there.
Bills 10.5 over.
I would also say over. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Seahawks 10.
Under.
Under.
I'll go
Defense
under
is
too.
not good enough.
Defense isn't that good.
O line's not good enough.
I don't.
Russell
think,
Wilson
They might
can't
get-
do it
They
all.
make it 10 wins exactly.
I don't think their run game's good enough, personally.
But
I like Chris Carson.
I like Chris Carson too, but I don't.
And Dallas.
I
Dallas
just
is
think
good too.
that last year their defense wasn't even that good, and I feel
No,
like
the
their
defense
defense
is the
kept them
downfall.
in games somehow. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's Pete Carroll's time to move on.
I agree.
I think they're
I've been saying
they're
that.
just kind of it's just not there anymore.
49ers also 10 wins here. I'll go. Depends on when Trey Lance gets in.
Yeah,
there.
that's what I'm
He
thinking.
gets in there week 4, 5 over.
No, I
I'm
think-
sold on Trey
I-
Lance.
I think either way, it's.
I'm
I'll
gonna
probably
say-
go-
I'm gonna say under because I think. I don't know. I feel like if Trey Lance gets in there, though, they're gonna be in a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Trey
then
Lance. If
it's gonna be
Garoppolo's
rough for him
doing
to
good,
get
he's not
back,
coming
yeah.
in. So
That's what I mean. I'm gonna say under.
I'll go
say
over.
under.
I'd say over. I think they're
Okay.
good enough. The defense is good
Yeah.
enough to win.
It's
big
hard
games.
for me to remember that like the Niners are so good because they had so many injuries last
Mhm.
year. You know,
And
It's
that
like,
division's so
You
good,
kind of
too.
forget how. Yeah, that's true. Their division is very, very good. I'm gonna stick with under.
Colts 10 as well. This is
Under.
a pick 'em here.
That's under. No quarterback. That's under.
Yeah. With the issue.
If
that-
Jacob Eason is playing quarterback till week 10,
Not week 10.
No
It'll
way.
be like week 2, I'd say.
I thought Wentz was out like
It was like 2 to 8 weeks.
Did
week
they
2 to
decide
8.
to-
2
Eason
to 8
over-
weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's a huge gap.
Did they decide it's Eason over Ellinger?
I mean, does it matter? I mean,
Both rookies.
Ellinger doesn't matter. Horns down, baby, but still.
Mhm. I'm going under. Cam didn't convince me.
I'm saying under. I said under from the start.
Browns 10 wins. Over. I'm going
I
over
go over
easily.
on that.
Hammer.
That might be the
it.
lock so far.
Hammer the over.
Definitely
Titans
over.
9.5.
Way over on that one.
I'll go over. I'll go over with
that
that.
division.
Tannehill
Yeah.
is
That good.
solid.
Well, he's on COVID IL right now because he's on
Yeah.
my fantasy
Not
team.
too long, though.
So I had to pick up Baker Mayfield of all
Oh
people.
darn! That
surprised
stinks.
he was on the waiver wire.
Well,
Darn!
Well,
you gotta have
I picked
Baker
up-
Mayfield.
I picked up Watson for like a little long-term investment,
Yeah.
just in case. So I needed to pick somebody up in case Tannehill doesn't
Drop
play,
him.
and Baker Mayfield was my best.
You could have
option.
waited until like,
Shows how much options I had in my
could
12
have
man
waited a
PPR.
little bit. They
league.
don't
A
play
lot
for
of
like another 2
Baker
weeks.
Mayfield's the best option over a lot of guys.
I don't know about that, but
Saints 9.5. I believe in Jameis. I'll go over.
nah,
Trust in Jameis.
I don't know. I'd say 9 wins, so under.
Under.
I think I like James a lot, but I think his first year starting with the Saints might be a step back for them, and then I think next year maybe he'll make a leap. I'll say over for this year, but
There we go.
But don't.
Trust in Jameis.
Oh, I meant to say under, but now I gotta say over.
Now you got to trust.
I
in
meant to
Jameis.
say under, and then next year they'd be over, whatever their number is. But yeah, I'll say under, sure. Or
Cal-
I'll say over. My bad. Jameis.
Over.
Famous
My
Jameis.
bad.
Over.
Jameis.
Crab legs, baby.
Yup.
Jeez.
Cowboys 9.5. I think we'll all say under here.
Yeah, no.
I think
not
they could
far
win
under.
the division at 9. Yeah.
No, Washington's getting more than 9 wins. Washington's
I don't
winning
know
11
about all
games.
that.
I think
They
the
might
Cowboys.
win 9 games.
Nah, they'll win
not
11
10,
games.
not 11.
I think the Cowboys can have 4 division wins if they split with the Giants and Washington and sweep the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they very easily should
Possible.
sweep the Eagles. But I mean, division rivalries, it's always kind of a
Never
toss
know.
up. 9.5, I'll say. Gosh, that's tough. I'll say over.
Wow. That's shocking. Steelers, 9 wins. Over,
I'd say
plus
under.
105. Under, minus 125. Under's the favorite here.
I'm going under on that one.
I'm going over. I think Steelers win 11 games this year. Maybe 12. But I'm leaning towards 11.
Under.
Under.
Really? Really? Under 9?
I
Yeah.
whispered
You
it so
think
you
that-
wouldn't get mad at
you
me.
think that-
Patriots.
You think that Mike Tomlin is going to have a losing season?
Yes.
Whatever.
8 wins would be
8 and 9. It'd be
a losing season now.
Yeah.
No. Mike Tomlin's not having a losing season.
I'll give him a
What
tie.
if he ties and then he goes
Yeah.
8, 8,
Fine.
and 1?
I'll give him a tie.
It's fine then. It's not a losing season, I guess. Actually, I don't know. Patriots, 9 wins. I'm going to go under here. I think they're going to stick with Cam Newton a little too long. I've liked what I've seen from Mac Jones in preseason. If they get him in early, maybe I'd go over, but right now I'd have to go under.
I'm gonna say under. The one thing I heard, or that I do think about Cam Newton and the Mac Jones situation is, the whole strange 5-day hiatus that Cam Newton had to go on because he got tested at like a non-NFL sanctioned testing,
Really?
whatever. So he had to sit out of practice for 5 days, and I think Bill might be making some calls or something.
Really?
I
He's
think-
shopping.
I think he wants to get Mac in
He's
there.
shopping
But
Cam.
I'm still gonna say under.
Alrighty.
Yeah, under.
Dolphins, 9 wins. I'll go over.
Over
here.
on that one. I like the Dolphins. I don't like Tua turn the ball over, but
No. I don't think,
I think the
Tua's
rest of the
that
team
great.
is solid.
Yeah.
You got the best corner in the game.
Mhm.
You got a good run game. The rest of the team is good enough to win.
Got
10 games.
Jalen Waddle now.
Yeah, he's nice.
I'm gonna say under.
Oh, man.
I've said over too many times. I feel like I
I've
need
said
to-
I
need
said
to
under.
even
I
it
feel like
out.
every time. I feel like the
I
math.
feel like I've said over like every time except for one.
If someone analyzes this, they're gonna be like, "This just isn't possible."
Yeah,
Not all these
maybe like
teams
the
can win this many
statistics
games.
on this are actually impossible.
Chargers 9 wins. I'll also go over again.
No.
Justin Herbert's gonna have a big season, possibly an MVP season.
I'll go under on that one.
I'll go over.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of other guys they have. I feel like their defense isn't as well. No, their defense is good.
Yeah,
They got
they got-
Derwin James coming back, which is
Yeah.
obviously huge. Yeah, I'm gonna go over.
Decent
I'm-
defense.
I very much so believe in Justin Herbert.
Vikings 8.5. I'm kind of a Vikings hater. Not gonna lie. They've
No,
never
they're
done
under.
anything to me. I don't really care. But I don't like Kirk Cousins.
Who
I
does?
don't really care for Dalvin Cook, and I'm going
Nah,
under.
I don't know why that's justified. How's that justified?
Why I don't like him?
Dalvin Cook, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's overrated. If I had a fan, I don't. Okay, he's overrated as in fantasy terms. Like some people will draft him first overall, maybe second.
Well, no, they're drunk.
I'll take
But
Derrick Henry. I'd put Saquon. I'd put Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb.
no. He's third behind McCaffrey and Henry.
Ezekiel Elliott, maybe. I like
No,
Ezekiel
no.
Elliott more than Dalvin
Dalvin
Cook.
Cook.
Why
Then
do you
I'd say
hate-
Chubb.
What's
Then
the
I'd say
deal with the
Chubb.
Browns slander from you, man?
I put him at 4.
Not digging it.
I put him at 4, and I'd say Saquon 5. If he bounces back.
All right,
Zeke doesn't even sniff, but
I'm
No,
going.
that's a different
Yeah,
topic.
I think Chubb's probably top 4. I
I-
don't know if he's
I agree.
4, but I think they're all pretty even up there. Vikings 8.5. Justin Jefferson year 2 will be interesting. I think a lot's going to hinge on him. Honestly, I think Thiel's going to stay consistent like he always does. 8.5. I think Jefferson's going to see a little bit of a dip this year, and I think that
He might.
he's going to get upset over that, like,
It's gonna be another
and that's going to
Stephon
hurt them a
Diggs.
little bit. And not that he's going to have a bad season, but it's just going to be a little bit of a dip. It's not going to be a record-setting season like last year. And I'll say under.
Can
And
it?
I think Kirk Cousins is
Under.
going to keep
Under. We're all going under 8.5
getting worse.
here.
So I'll say under.
The Washington football team, 8 wins.
I feel like that's a pretty
disres-
easy over.
I like that over.
Disrespectful.
I like that over.
Unbelievable.
We said that the Browns
That's free
are
money then.
the
Yeah, it
Browns
is.
at 10.5, was it, or a lock?
Yeah.
What was it? Browns
10.
at 10. You said might be the lock at the over. I
Washington
think
might
that
be a
Washington
lock.
at 8's kind of a
Yeah.
lock for over as well.
I'd say Steelers too. I'd say that's a
I
lot.
I don't know about that. All right.
Even drinking.
Raiders, 8 wins. Under.
Yeah, they're bad.
Speed round here.
I'm gonna go over. I like the Raiders.
Really?
I think the
Speed round.
Raiders are a pretty underrated team. I think they can be good.
What? No.
Cardinals, 8 wins. Over.
Over.
Yeah.
Broncos, 7.5. Over.
Over. Yeah.
Under.
7.5 is too low.
Yeah.
That's
A bit
you
low.
got to be real bad to not get an over here.
Bears.
I've been saying over too much. I gotta say
I've
under.
said over, I feel like, every time. Bears, 7.5.
I'd say
I'll say over.
over too. I think 7.5 is doable.
I'll go
It's a
under.
lot, actually.
I'll go under, but Justin Fields will show
I think
flashes.
to make this mathematically possible, I have to say under, but I'll stick with the over here. Panthers, 7.5. I'll go
Over.
under here.
Nah, they
Darnold's
got
trash.
better.
McCaffrey's
Over.
gonna get
No,
hurt.
trash is a strong word.
I'll say over. Sam Darnold's gonna come to life. I've always hated
And I think come
Sam
to life
Darnold.
is strong too.
I've always hated Sam Darnold, honestly, but something about him not being in a Jets uniform, I don't know. So maybe I still don't like him, but I think they'll go over. I don't know.
Eagles, 7 wins.
Under.
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 Way under.
Giants, 7 wins. Over.
I think
I think
7.
we'll get 8.
I think 7's.
I was gonna say I think that might be a push, honestly, but
It
I'll
might be.
say under at 6.
Falcons, 7.
over.
I
I
also think they're an 8-win team. I'll go over.
think they're good enough to be bad teams, not good enough to be good teams. About as mediocre as it gets.
I'll go under.
I'm gonna say under.
That one's really tough.
Matt Ryan. Ooh,
I think they should be good
might
enough
be
to
a
get
push.
7 wins, but they
I'll
lost Julio
say
Jones.
Kyle Pitts.
They
Kyle
got
Pitts
Kyle
is
Pitts.
huge.
They still got
Mike
Ridley.
Davis. I think Mike Davis
Mike
is
Davis
a
is a good-
better running back than Todd Gurley
Yeah.
right now. I'll say over.
Bengals, 6.5. Under.
Under.
I think they'll win 6-5 games.
Defense is
Gosh, I want to say over, but
Defense
I feel
is
like
atrocious.
I can't mathematically say
No
over.
Offensive
chance.
line is atrocious.
Under,
No
I'll say
chance.
under.
Jets, 6 wins. I'll
Under.
say under.
hammer that under.
I keep wanting to look at like the positives for all these teams, but like I
Yeah.
said, I don't know if I can say over, just mathematically. I'll say under, yeah.
Jaguars, 6 wins.
Under.
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 Urban Meyer will be out by week 5.
That's
He's-
so
I don't-
early.
I don't
He's
think
not
That's an
built for this.
insane.
I don't
think
think
any
he's
coach has
not
ever been
built for
fired.
this.
Economically
No, he won't be
possible.
fired. He'll be like, never mind.
He'll just
He'll
quit.
quit.
Yeah.
He'll fake a heart attack.
Yeah, something
Okay.
like
I
that.
don't think that's economically possible for him to be out by week 5, but I
He-
still say under.
He has never worked with a team that isn't the top dog. He is not going to be able to handle winning 4 games.
I don't know. We'll have to
Where did he
see.
start his career at? I don't think
Okay.
he started as a Florida head coach.
He is now, I'd assume, used to being the top dog.
There you go.
But yeah,
Texans, 5 wins. Under. I think they'll win like 2 games.
under.
I don't know.
games.
I could see 0-16 there, dude. They're bad.
Really?
Or 0-17.
Yeah.
Dude, they're bad.
They are bad. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know about 0-16 or 0-17.
Who are they
I'll-
gonna
I'll
beat?
say under.
Lions.
Okay, never mind.
Last,
the Lions are
last
lower.
team.
Oh my
Lions,
Lord.
5 wins. I'm
Oh.
going over. I
Yeah.
trust Dan Campbell to get gritty and get some wins.
I think they're better than 5.
Dan
Not
Campbell.
Not
that
by
much
far.
better, Yeah.
Maybe 6, but
It might be a push as well. It
Dan
might be-
Campbell's going to go Flyers mascot, get gritty, and I think that something about him and Jared Goff are going to have a weird, strange, the odd couple mesh.
I don't think so.
And I think they're going to get 6 wins instead of 5.
Wow.
I'll say over.
Huge year for the Lions. All right. I think that'll wrap it up for this week. Season 2, Episode 1. We are back. Episodes once a week. We'll figure out a specific time to release these. Video, if you're watching, hello. If you're just listening, what's up? This wraps up Season 2, Episode 1. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to say?
I think Camden's got to stop with the Baker Mayfield slander, and I think
Brown
that
slander in general.
it's going to be a big year
When did
for
I sla-
6.
when did I
Even
slander
as a
the
Steelers
Browns?
fan,
When did I slander the Browns other than Baker Mayfield?
I don't know.
I don't know
But
either.
you do slander. You do throw slander.
I slander. My slander is usually correct, though. You have to think a lot of the time.
We'll be
You
back.
also said that Odell Beckham's catch wasn't one of the best plays of all time, so I don't know if your
let's not
slander is
forget
usually
that, Dave.
correct.
Let's not forget that. We'll be back next week Camden will have his hot takes ready. Sorry we
Always.
didn't have time to get to them today, but we
They're always
certainly
there.
will be back next week. So stay tuned for that. And we'll see you guys on Twitter, and we'll hear from you soon. Have a good one.
What did you just? All right, let me ask you this. Was Lydium real? Pittsburgh. Where legends are told. Pittsburgh. The city of steel. Pittsburgh. Who go in the gold? Pittsburgh. Girls giving me digits, I'm crossing the bridges, it always be cold. Pittsburgh. I rap black and yellow cause they never fold. We're nothing like you, the 4 and 2. The Rangers are lit and pit. The people don't quit. I'm copping new drip, legit. I'm dropping this hit. Yeah, it's full send when I'm repping Big Ben, I ain't repping no bird. They treat us like third, our talent deserves to be heard. It's cool rap on the track, what's the word? I mean, what is there to say? Look at that beautiful city view. I don't care what you look like, you dress like you act like you ain't with the berg, I ain't into you. I be putting in work and I don't have a